So the next thing we're going to touch on is the settings over here. Some basic settings that you're going to probably want to enable when you first log in. The first thing you can do is they have three sort of built-in display densities, they call it, for your Gmail account. So you can go cozy. You can see how that changes the format, tightens things up a little bit, maximizes how much space you're using in the window. Or we can have compact, that really kind of small, makes everything smaller in your logo side, tightens all the spacing and stuff, puts everything up in here, so you've just got a lot more usable area within your web browser. I'm going to stay on comfortable for this tutorial just because it's nice and easy to see. A couple of the other things you have here is your settings, themes, report, and help. Report a bug, so if you're having trouble with Gmail, you can report something directly to Google. And then help takes you to the Gmail related help server, wiki that will give you information on using Gmail. So we'll just touch into settings. One of the things we're going to want you to do when you first get in your Gmail is I would suggest that you turn on keyboard shortcuts. We'll cover that in a sec on what they can do for you as far as speeding up dealing with email. You can change the maximum page size here, so how many email messages, remember we talked about by default it's 25 I believe, you can set it to 50. Number of contacts you want to show per page, you can set that. So again, turn keyboard shortcuts on, and then you would just go down and hit the Save Changes button. And then there's some other options here that you can read through and turn on or off as you need. One of the other things I like to do is stars and enable stars. That's how I use to sort of organize some of my email. And you can just click and drag, and that's how they get into in use or not in use. Chat notifications can be turned on or off, and again this works in Google Chrome where you can actually turn on notifications so a little pop-up window will work for you. You can select a picture for your profile, and same sort of thing, just hit select. That'll bring you to this. You can use a web album. Ooh, just let that refresh. Okay, go back. Select picture. You can use a Picasso web album if there's any there. You can link to an image from a URL, or you can actually upload an image right from your computer. The other option here too is create contacts. When I send a message to a new person, add them to my other contacts. This is a really good idea because it creates what's called a temporary sort of other contacts list and allows the auto type to work well, and then you can also add information to those other contacts and then put them in your my contacts or different groups and contacts. And then if you wanted to create any signature, this is where you would do that, and that signature would be auto inserted into each email that you create, just whatever information you put in here, so you only have to do a signature once. Indicators is just a way, little arrows, whether it's 2 arrows, so again you can read through this, that kind of stuff. Show snippets. Snippets are little bits of information at the top that you'd be able to see kind of a snippet of the message, so you know. Your vacation responder, so if you are leaving the office and you're going to be away from email, you can fill it in here, set a start and end date if you want, subject and message, and that will send back an email to whatever you decide, letting them know that you're away from the computer. And then default encoding, again, these settings here you probably will not have to play with, just accept the Google Apps defaults. Alright. Now we're across to labels. This is where, again, I had said you had your system labels, and then you have sort of some custom labels in here that you can add, edit, or delete, and you can create new labels as well. And that's just a way to organize and filter your message. Accounts is just a place where you can set up aliases. So if you have multiple email addresses but you still want to use Gmail for everything, your Google Apps Gmail, you can add an email address here and actually send as that person. So if you were sending from another email address, you could do that. And then if you wanted to use a pop downloader to bring email into your account from another account, say Hotmail or Yahoo or something like that, you would use this POP3 mail account right here, and that would add that account and put it all into your Gmail, Google Apps Gmail inbox. And then delegation. This one here is very important. If you're going to allow your account to be managed by anybody else, you can actually, like if you're away on holidays, you have an assistant, or you want another staff member to be able to send and receive email on your behalf. You can delegate that account here just by clicking add. You type in their email address and they would get notification, they could accept that. Now the big thing with this is if you are going to do that, it has to be within your Google Apps domain. So you can only delegate this from people within your account. So again, it would be an assistant or things like that. Filters are ways to basically create a rule or filter to apply to a message when it comes in. Those can be anything from, if a message comes from a certain person, you apply a label to it, or it's filed to a different label, or you throw it in the trash because you don't want it anymore. Those types of things. It's a very self-explanatory. Hit create filter, type in the information you want, and away you go. Forwarding, this is pretty self-explanatory as well. I won't get into this too much because if you're on Google Apps you will probably not be using this, but just go through the steps and you can enable pop, you can forward to a different account if you want, you can mark messages deleted, that kind of stuff, depending on if you're connecting via an iPhone or those types of things. That kind of information is all done here. Your chat, you can enable chat on or off here. If you have, if chat is enabled for your Google Apps domain, you would have this tab here. If it's not, you would not see this tab. The other thing too is if you have a video camera, if you're on a laptop or something like that, you can actually set up voice and video chat, and you can enable outbound voice calling from here, which we talked about, the call phone feature. And then sounds and emotion icons if you wanted to use those. Again, you guys can get through that. Now, web clips is something that you may or may not want to add to this. You can leave them on or off. You can uncheck that or check it. And what web clips are is little tidbits of information that show up right here. So, the Global Home Critics Notebook comparing Fred, Obama, Davis, blah, blah, blah. It's like news, that kind of stuff. If I hit refresh, it's going to change report on business, U.S. sector growth slows, change it again, and it's little tidbits. So if you want to turn those off just because they're a distraction, which I usually recommend for especially education, that kind of stuff, you go into web clips and you just uncheck it there. The other thing too is you can also follow updates from your own site through Google Reader, so that might be something that you might like to do too. So Google Reader is another feature. Labs. Now labs are basically ways that you can extend the functionality of your Google Apps account, and we will touch on some labs here in a sec on sort of some suggested ones that will allow you to have different labs enabled. Your inbox, you can use a classic inbox type, important first, unread, starred, priority inbox. Great video on the side here that will allow you with it. You can have markers on or off, and you can filter or override your filters and stuff depending on your inbox settings there. Offline, so if you are on Google Chrome, you can install Gmail offline, and that'll allow you to use your Gmail while you're on the road without any Wi-Fi connectivity. And the last thing in settings is your theme. So your theme is basically a way that you can customize your look of Gmail a little bit, so that you might like the look and feel a little differently. So you can see I've applied this theme. We'll go back to our inbox and just change the little look a little bit, different background, and we can access that directly just by clicking this gear icon and going to themes. And we can do things like, here's eggplant, so we got nice purple background, or we want maybe a desk. There's our desk background. So that's the different themes that are built in that you can use, and they're kind of fun just to jazz up your inbox a little bit. These ones here are designed for the new look of Google Apps, and these ones as well. These are some of the classic themes that were around before that you could set in different ways. So you can see there's all kinds of crazy things you can do with that. It just helps you customize your Gmail to your look and feel.